Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And with the Texas Longhorns annual spring game set for 1 p.m. Central, Saturday the 24th of April, it got me thinking about one of my favorite positions, the tight end position. And that's going to be a position that the Texas Longhorns must vastly improve on in the fall of 2021, as a total of 29 receptions for 388 yards back from these four incumbent players for just a total of 5 TDs is not going to get it done for Sark's new boys and his explosive offense. But what's up? What's happening? It's your boy AK, and I'm back here with the video with you today. I do talk about college football, Texas Longhorns football pretty much every single day of the week. I do highlights, live streams, and monologue videos. So this is the kind of sort of content you do like. Go ahead and subscribe and like this video.
Welcome to the Eyes on Texas channel.
But first, let's talk about the players that we do have coming back. We all know first who I'm talking about, the Super 6 senior. He's been on campus since 2017. I'm talking about number 80, Cade Brewer, as he hauled in just 15 receptions last year for 169 yards. Just a couple of touchdowns for Cade Brewer, as he is coming back, as I did say, from his 6th season, as it was a COVID season last year. So if you did want to come back to play, you are granted another year of eligibility, and Texas did in fact grant that eligibility to Cade Brewer. Coming up next in coming off the 2020 season and going to be a sophomore tight end coming out of Temple, Texas. He's going to be an explosive 6'7", 254-pounder. He did haul in 9 receptions just this past season. He did have 166 yards for just one tight end. Out of the incumbent ones coming back, out of the main group coming back, Jared Wiley does stretch the field just a little bit better than the other 3 to 4, in my personal opinion, which does bring us next to Malcolm Epps, the 6'6", rangy sophomore from Houston, Texas, is 6'6", 244 pounds. He did haul in just 3 receptions for 42 yards and a couple of TDs, so he is just a bit more of a red zone threat, is Malcolm Epps, but he is going to be a position player that the Texas Longhorns will look to come back from the tight end position. And of course, we have Braden LeBrock. Not much production coming from him just this past season, just a couple of receptions for 11 yards. Couple of true freshmen, actually 3 true freshmen that might play a role in this season. First is going to be Gunnar Helm. He's going to be 6'5", coming from Cherry Creek, Colorado. Plays more of a flex style tight end position, has mainly been a wide receiver, did make the transition his senior season, putting on some good pounds and not losing his explosiveness and mainly his speed. Next, we're going to be talking about new on the campus, but not yet quite on the 40 acres, is going to be the 5-star dual threat 2-way player from Denton Ryan, Texas. Going to be Jatavion Sanders. Going to be the highest rated recruit that Texas did have in the 2021 class, as he does play flex tight end and flex tight end and a defensive end on defense, And my most favorite player in the 21 class from Everman High School, Juan Davis. He is going to be a 6'4", 225-pound athlete coming out of Everman. He is a very raw individual, but we did recruit him as a tight end. So that's going to be who we have coming back, and that's going to be who we do have. There's going to be new on the 40 acres. With having so many tight ends on the 40 acres, true, you can have a couple of tight ends on the field at one time, but still there is only one ball to catch. So now let's talk about playing time distribution and the depth chart. I see Cade Brewer again starting the season out as tight end 1. The Super 6 senior committed to the Texas Longhorns way back in December of 2016 and was a part of that 2017 class. Next, backing him up, I see Jared Wiley, the 6'7", big-bodied, more athletic tight end than Brewer, in my personal opinion. I would love to see him work the seams and body people up in the stop routes. More than likely, and I would love to see Jared Wiley become the starting tight end one, getting the most reps and most catches by the Oklahoma game. Malcolm Epps is going to be the next tight end in the depth chart. In my personal opinion, I see him more of a situational player, having most of his production in the red zone. True, he did only have 3 catches, but 2 of those 3 catches went for touchdowns, so I do see those productions going up just a little bit more, but I do see Malcolm Epps as a situational and especially red zone threat. Next, we're going to have Braden LeBrock. I see him getting a little bit more catches, getting a little bit more repetitions, but I see most of those catches are going to come in garbage times. In fact, blowouts, if we do in fact have those, as he needs to improve upon his couple of catches for just 11 yards. Next, we're going to have true freshman Gunnar Helm from Cherry Creek, Colorado. And like I did say, he is a true freshman. And he played most of his time up there in Cherry Creek as a wide receiver, making the transition from wide receiver to tight end in his senior season. He is most effective as a split out tight end. He definitely does need to work on his inline blocking, but he did add on 30 good pounds or so of good weight while making it in that transition, so he didn't lose a lot of that speed and he didn't lose a lot of that quickness. So Gunnar Helm in the spring ball and maybe in this spring game, have your eyes on him because his eyes have been looked at a little bit. He has flashed a little bit so far in practice, so look for him in the spring game. But with that being said, as far as this season, he is more than likely to be a redshirt candidate in my personal opinion. Next, we're going to have true freshman Juan Davis, my boy, the Everman. One of the reasons why I started out this channel over a year ago, Juan Davis. He comes to Texas as a true athlete prospect, as he did play in multiple positions for Everman at high school, as he played quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, and running back. So he is a really good athlete. He's a great athlete, in fact. He's a very coachable individual. And with him playing all those positions, all those different multiple positions, I do see him as a yes coach kind of sort of player. I do see him being very, very coachable. But I do in fact see him being very, very raw. And I see Juan Davis, number 81, being a true redshirt candidate 100%. I do see Juan Davis getting some run here in the spring game. Would love to see him play. Would love to see him getting some playing time. Would love to see number 81 running out there in his dreads. But I do in fact see not Jatavion Sanders. I do see Juan Davis as a redshirt freshman candidate. Coming up next, is Jatavion Sanders. He is not yet on campus. He will not be participating in that spring game. He's listed as an athlete prospect. He was the number 1 rated athlete prospect in the class of 2020, and he was our number 1 rated candidate in that class, period. He's a 5-star athlete recruit, as he plays on both sides of the ball as a flex tight end on offense, and he's going to be a defensive end on defense, obviously. With that being said, I may see him possibly getting some run during the season as a tight end, as a flex tight end. We might see some packages for him. But I don't really expect him to grow and develop as a tight end, as I do in fact see him, his body growing, and I do in fact see him developing to a dominant defensive end. That is where I see Jatavion Sanders, but I do in fact see him. We give him a run. We did recruit him as an athlete prospect, and during that athlete prospect recruitment, we did in fact say that we would give him a run at tight end. We would give him a look at offense. He's an explosive player. Just check out YouTube, making one-handed catches, making defensive backs look silly. He is a bit of a matchup nightmare, with his size and his speed. But I do in fact see him eventually coming on to the 40 acres and being a member of the Texas Longhorns as a defensive prospect. Whether he will redshirt or not, I definitely do not see him redshirt, because I do see him getting into a multiple of games playing on the defensive line in Coach PK's defense. I do have some questions for this group. How much playing time will they actually get? How will they fit into Coach Sark's offensive all gas and no break scheme? That will yet to be seen, but I'm very much excited about this group. Very much excited with the tight ends because it is a kind of sort of a unicorn group because they are a little bit too big, they are a little bit too fast, they are big, strong athletes that still make explosive catches that are nightmare matchups on defensive and will absolutely stress and cause great early gray hairs for defensive coordinators. That's a wrap for me, but if you did like this video, please go ahead and subscribe and like this one. For everyone, keep your head in the swivel and your eyes on Texas. Horns up.
Welcome to the Eyes on Texas channel.